Who was Kans?
Okay, sure.
Like, let's rewind this a little bit and then come back to this point.
Absolutely. So, Vasudeva and Devaki, when they get married, Devaki has a cousin brother by name Kamsa. Kamsa has this, he's very fond of Devaki, and he's the one who's conducted this wedding in a huge, lavish, grand way. But post the wedding, as soon as the wedding is over, when he's taking them for a procession, that is when he hears an Akashavani, a voice in the heavens that says the eighth child of this woman is going to be, is going to be responsible for your death. So Kamsa's first reaction is he wants to kill his sister. So it's Vasudeva who implores him and says, don't, look, the danger to you is through the eighth child, right? So we will give you the eighth child. And why eighth child? We'll give you all the children that we have so that there is absolutely no danger to your life. So Kamsa instructs for them to be put into a jail, Vasudeva and Devaki, his cousin sister and her husband. And initially when the first few children are born also, he doesn't even take them. He doesn't, because he knows what, he's been told that the eighth child is the problem child, literally. So he's only interested in killing that child. He has nothing to do with the other children. But the beauty of Krishna Katha starts here. Most of us go through this part, we read through it in a great hurry. But Kamsa is sitting happily. He knows only that eighth child will cause me some trouble when it comes. He's not even thinking about anything. He's carrying on with his work. It's at that time that Narada Muni comes. And he says, look, the voice said the eighth child, but who knows if it will be 8 combined with the other 7 that could cause trouble. So how are you letting them be? You should kill all of them as well. Now this looks like a very gruesome thing to do, no? Killing 7 innocent children, or the children that have come before, the 7th one doesn't get killed. So Kamsa immediately acts on this order and he orders for the children so far that have been born to be killed. What a gruesome act. But here lies the idea. The idea of this, why does Narada come and instill or instigate such a thing? Because he wants Kamsa to start thinking about the 8th child. Thinking about Krishna is the whole key to unlocking the mystery of the world of Krishna. Anybody who comes in contact with Krishna, they're thinking about him. Good, bad is secondary. Whether they're in love with him, whether they hate him, doesn't matter. Kamsa gets mukti. The same Kamsa who had his own sister imprisoned and tried to kill all of her children and tried to have the 8th child killed, ultimately finds deliverance at the hands of that very 8th child. Because he becomes obsessed. He keeps thinking, when will the 8th child be born? When will the 8th child be born? This is yoga. When you are constantly thinking, Kamsa becomes a category of yogis called as Bhaya Yogi. He is a yogi not through happiness or through joy, but he is a yogi on account of his fear. Ravana falls into the same category in the Ramayana. Ravana is also constantly thinking, when will Rama come? When will Rama come? Or who is this who has come on behalf of Rama and has burnt all of Lanka? That is Hanuman. So when fear enters, but that fear is about that supreme concept, that supreme ideology, then even that will give you deliverance. So that is what is indicated through Kamsa. So he has them bound, and on that phenomenal night, Vyasa, when he writes the Bhagavatam, when he writes the Bhagavata Puranam, when he comes to this chapter, he wants to show you everything that's there. That is why he begins saying, Tam Adbhutam Balakam. 2 words. Adbhutam, extraordinary. Balakam, baby boy. But immediately after that, he describes the Swarupam of the baby boy. It's a baby boy, but his Swarupam is Maharha Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Trisha Parishwata Sahasra Kuntalam Balakam. He has all of these Rajalanchanas, all of these adornments, all of this Swarupam that is fitting the Lord of the universe, but he's a boy. Vyasa cannot control himself. This is the difference between Ramavataram and Krishnavataram. In Ramavataram, the whole context is Rama pretends to be a man. Valmiki gives it away only in one place, when he says the Lord of the universe was born as Kausalya's son, because Valmiki could not contain that joy. But after that, Rama is treated as a man in the epic till Ravana's death. There is a reason for that. I'll come there later. But in Krishnavataram, the glory manifests from second number 1. He's already established that it is Mahavishnu, and there is no condition here. In the case of Ramavataram, Ravana had a condition. Ravana said, I should not die at the hands of a man. So that condition has to be honored. So to honor that, Rama pretends to be the perfect man. Krishna has no such conditions. So he's come on this side of the river. But this is the story we know, that once Krishna appears like this and shows his parents his Swarupa, he tells them, take me to the other side. So the whole context is that this boy now is not safe here, because Kamsa has this whole thing that he's going to kill the 8th child because the 8th child is threatening him. So what does Kamsa want to do? Kamsa wants to dispose of him. So Krishna gives Vasudeva, his father, the instruction saying, take me to the other side of Yamuna and there place me in Nanda and Yashoda's house. A baby girl is born to them on the same night. Bring that girl here and put her in my place. This is what Vasudeva is told to do, and Vasudeva does as told. Of course, once people start writing about this portion, their ecstasy comes through. The kind of poetic descriptions that come out. So Mathura is again on the banks of Yamuna and the other side is Gokul. As soon as he steps out, Shravan Masam comes in Varsha Ritu. It is monsoon season. So the river is in full spate and it's raining above. So as soon as he steps out with Krishna and his basket on his head, Adisesha comes to protect this little boy. Because he doesn't want the boy to get wet, because that is the one, that is Narayana himself, that reclines on him. But as soon as they come to Yamuna, there's one beautiful version that says, Vasudeva looks at Yamuna and he wonders, how will I cross this river? I mean, imagine a river in full spate at midnight on a night where it's pouring. Anyone would be daunted. And to add to this fear, the river is just rising. The river is rising because Yamuna is trying to find a way to touch Krishna's feet. Because this boy has just come and she wants to take his blessing at the beginning of the avataram. The second one of her water droplets falls on his feet, she immediately parts way and subdues herself. So Vasudeva walks straight across and he reaches Gokul. Now here is where the rahasyam is. Many people don't know this. We all think he goes there, he swaps the baby girl and the baby boy and comes back. That's not what happens. On the other side of the river, Nanda and Yashoda, Nanda is a chieftain of a local tribe there. Nanda's wife Yashoda, they have a baby girl is what they think. What they don't know is along with the baby girl, Yashoda gave birth to a beam of light. So, this story is not told in the Bhagavata Puranam. It is told in other Puranams. What this version says is, when Vasudeva went and exchanged Krishna, when he placed Krishna over there, this Krishna and that beam of light merged. What's the rahasyam here? The rahasyam here takes us into a completely different world. What we know is that Vishnu incarnates as Krishna. Vishnu takes form as Krishna. This is what we understand from the realm of Vishnu. But the realm of Krishna extends beyond this. The realm of Krishna says that just like Vishnu has an eternal world called Vaikuntham, where he is with Mahalakshmi, we spoke about this last time. Just like Vishnu has this realm, Shiva has a Kailasa, Devi has a Manidvipa, every divine presence has their own loka. Just like that, Krishna has an eternal loka, which is called as Goloka. That's not Goloka here on earth. That is Goloka, which is beyond Brahmandas, beyond the universe. For all the other avatars that Narayana takes, it is only Vishnu in Vaikuntha who comes and takes form. For this avatara, it is both of these who come together, meaning Vishnu in Vaikuntha and Krishna in Goloka. Vishnu in Vaikuntha came to Vasudeva and Devaki. I told you, right? He showed his Swarupam with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. That is Vishnu in Vaikuntha. The other Swarupam, which is Krishna and Goloka, came as the beam of light to Nanda and Yashoda. So, both of them merged and this avataram is both of their merging together. That is why if you see the names of Krishna, one of the names given to Krishna is Nanda Sambhava, the one who was born from Nanda. How can we say that based on the regular story we know? Technically, Nanda and Yashoda adopted him, though they didn't know they were adopting him. But that's not true. He was born to them as well. The whole idea is this avataram is Adbhutam. This is extraordinary. This is something special, and the stories keep highlighting that and they keep coming back to that. So that is the entry into Gokulam, which marks a very different phase in Krishna's life. Because now the whole, and this also marks the difference in Janmashtami. In Janmashtami celebrations, Janmashtami is split across 2 days, even now. The first is the day of Janmashtami, which culminates in the puja that happens at midnight, because that is when he takes avataram. That the next day, so it's the next day that Nanda and Yashoda, when they wake up, they realize, oh, there is a baby boy here. And that's when there is an Utsav in Gokulam. Because there is an Utsav in Gokul, that day is called as Gokulashtami. So you will see Janmashtami celebrations across the country, roughly with these names only. Janmashtami will be different, Gokulashtami will be different. So that happens the next day. So, I mean, if you go to Vrindavan, you will see in Gokul the kind of celebration there. Yes.
Weren't they aware of the two babies being exchanged?
Exactly. Good question. How come they didn't know? Who was born to Nanda and Yashoda? Krishna is born on this side, or Vishnu, let's say, is born on this side. On the other side, Vishnu's sister, like I mentioned, whose name is Yogamaya, Maya Shakti, is born there. By virtue of Maya being born, nobody knows what's happening. That's why they didn't even realize that they had a baby girl. Because Maya is like a blanket. When Maya operates on his instruction, everyone gets deluded. Delusion, moha. The night that he came, moharatri. So one thing connects to another. And this Yogamaya, what happens? Vasudeva brings back this girl. Again, the story does something phenomenal. As soon as he brings back this girl, it is at that point of time that suddenly all the quietness here disappears. Because when Vasudeva was taking him, magically the chains that were binding him and Devaki, those were released. The guards that were keep vigilant throughout, they became sleepy. All of this was when he was taking Krishna out, so that news should not go to Kamsa. But the second Vasudeva brought her back, the girl cried, the guards got up, and news was immediately sent to Kamsa. Why does this happen? Again, looks like a very gruesome detail, because Kamsa comes and he tries to kill the baby girl. He takes the baby girl and tries to smash her head on the stone. What happens instead? The baby girl slips out of his hands and goes into the sky. And she says, your killer is on the other side of Yamuna, and your killer will come for you. This is the concept of Bhaya Yogam, like I mentioned. It gets instilled inside him. Because Kamsa now goes back and he starts thinking, my killer, my killer, my killer. Just replace the word killer with Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. It becomes Namajapam. What is your criteria for moksha? Your criteria is that you have to constantly think. You have to be in that state of constant contemplation. Kamsa becomes that. So Kamsa sends a host of Rakshasas now to Gokul, and those form portions of Krishna Leelas, where he deals with these Rakshasas that Kamsa sends.
Was he also a Rakshasa himself?
Who, Kamsa? Yes. Kamsa has his own story associated with him of how he came to be a Rakshasa. Kamsa and his whole hatred for Krishna is a very interesting subject, because his is not a hatred that comes prior. For example, in the case of Ravana, Ravana looks down on man, like on a human being. He feels, I'm so powerful, a man can do nothing to me. Kamsa has that attitude in general. He's just a tyrant. So his whole context is very different. Because you're on the topic of asking about different Rakshasas and their backstories, each of them you can trace back. Not just Rakshasas. This is the beautiful thing, Ranveer. Every character in a Puranic story will have at least 3 generations, or not 3 generations, 3 lifetimes worth of backstories that you can trace. Saying, in this body, they were these people. In this time, they were this people. Same thing with Vasudeva and Devaki. Same thing with Nanda and Yashoda. Same thing with Radha's parents. Same thing with Kamsa. So each thing will go back and make you realize, why are they telling you this story here? But the thing is, the organization of Puranas is very fantastic. Here in Bhagavatam, the focus is Krishna's story. So they don't get into too many of these back details. But you will have allied texts. You will have other Puranas where these things get elaborately spoken about. So the story I just said about, Vishnu and Krishna merging, that you find in Brahma Vaivarta Purana in great detail. That doesn't come out here because Vyasa's focus here is learn the story. Learn the basics of the story. The nuances will reveal themselves as and when to you. So, yes.
Okay. I don't want to stop you, man. Go on.
So, this Yogamaya that comes here, that she slips out of Kamsa's hand and goes into the skies, this same Yogamaya is the one, her presence reassures Vasudeva and Devaki. Reassuring in Sanskritam is called as Bhadratvam. Bhadram is when you feel safe. And she brought them great news by saying he is safe on the other side and he will relieve them, because Kamsa still has them in jail. And Kamsa has kept his father also. He's ensured that his father, Ugrasena, is not sitting on the throne. Vasudeva and Devaki are operating from a great space of dharma. So for them to know that this tyrant is ruling like this, that bothers them. Now she has given this Bhadratvam. She has given this news that yes, your killer is on the other side. He will come. This news brings them, it's good news. So it's Su. She is the one who becomes Subhadra later on in the story. This is Subhadra, who is Vishnu's Yogamaya Shakti, who is in Puri Jagannath. Along with him, she is there, along with Balarama Swami. Balarama, again, his brother. Krishna's brother, the 7th child of Devaki.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.